Tiga kata-kata jurnalisme warga. 1, 2, 3. Lihat dulu ya.
Jadi kawan-kawan, hari ini kita akan menuju ke kediamannya Mr. Gali.
Hello, Assalamualaikum. Good morning, everyone. Before we start, can you share your name and where you are come from in the chat box? We have, hi Shafika. Shafika is from Malaysia. Hi, Shafika. We have, hi Sidalia from Timor-Leste. Hello. I saw someone who is driving, Mr. Aldi Prasetyo. Hi, Mr. Aldi. Be careful when you are driving. And hi, Nurul. Nurul from Indonesia. Hi, Nurul. Hi, Rifki. Wow, we have someone from Yogyakarta here. Hi, Jonas. How are you doing today? Hi, good morning, Ami. Ami is from Aceh. And we have Chut Maybe. We have Kyria from Aceh. And Egi Aliu Helsandi from Aceh. Mahdia from Medan. Hi, Amalina. Amalina from Sabah. Apa kabar, Bah? Hi, Azam. Azam from Cikarang. Hi, Nuri. See you again. Nuri is from Aceh. Hi. Thank you for opening your camera. Okay, everyone. Welcome to our webinar today. Okay, before we start our program today, let me introduce myself. I'm Laila Sabiha. I'm from Malaysia, and I'm one of the YSEALI Young Southeast Asian Leadership Initiative program. I'm from Malaysia. I'm currently working as the senior executive at Pengurusan Aset Air Berhad, water asset management company in Malaysia. Before that, if you don't understand English or you feel some difficulties and you need translation, just write down in the caption. Sebelum kita memulakan, sekiranya anda mempunyai masalah untuk memahami dalam bahasa Inggeris dan memerlukan penterjemahan, sila nyatakan di dalam ruangan chat bagi kami membantu anda dalam proses penterjemahan daripada bahasa Inggeris kepada bahasa Indonesia ataupun bahasa Melayu. Okay, let me introduce our speaker for today. Today we have Dr. Satrio Adi Wicaksono. Hi, Dr. Adi.
Hi,
Okay,
Laila. Good to see you.
Hi, good to see you again, Dr. Satrio. Okay, Dr. Satrio is a dedicated environmental advocate, currently serves as the program officer for forests at the IUCN Asia Regional Office in Bangkok, Thailand. With over 8 years of experience, Satrio brings practical environmental research and influential policy processes in Asia, focusing on critical areas such as forests and landscape restoration, community-based forest management, and sustainable agricultural commodity production. Dr. Satrio holds a Bachelor of Arts from Wesleyan University in the United States with a double major in geology and environmental studies, alongside a certificate in international relations. He also earned a PhD in tropical climate science from Brown University in the United States. He's an alumna of the YCL Academic Public Policy Seminar on Regional Environment and Resilient Development. Okay, we also have Ms. Fika from Brunei. She will deliver her speech later. Fika Rahman is a celebrated NYC-based documentary filmmaker with accolades, including an Emmy TV Award nomination. Her journey spans over 7 years, donning diverse roles from educator to creative director. Armed with a master's in journalism from New York University, NYU, courtesy of a Fulbright scholarship, she crafted her documentary, Finding Freedom, delving into the 2020 Black Lives Matter movement. This earned her the Marlene Sanders Journalism Awards and Emmy TV Awards nomination. Fika is very active in advocating people about the gender and race discrimination and also mental wellness. She is an alumni from YCL Academic Fellowship and Fulbright, further underscored in her contribution to the community. And we also someone who is from Aceh, Indonesia. Hi, Gayu. Okay. Hi, Ayu Olia is an indigenous storyteller and writer who is deeply passionate about education and creative fields, including feature writing, game designing, and empowerment training. Currently, she serves as the coordinator of non-profit organization Perempuan Peduli Leuser. Over the past few years, Ayu and her dedicated team have focused on producing impactful stories covering sustainable environment, cultural heritage, empowerment, and protection for women, youth, children, and also people with disability. And I firmly believe in the power of storytelling. She is very, very good in storytelling because she thinks that with storytelling, it can connect people and inspire individuals to contribute to the greater goals. She is an alumna for YCL Game Changer, Workshop Game Jam, and YCL Summit, a decade of impact 2023. For everyone, if you want to know, 4 of us are actually from YCL Summit, where we met last year in December 2023 in Bali, Indonesia. So without further ado, let me invite Dr. Satrio for his session.
Great. Thank you so much, Laila. Terima kasih. So, yes, as Laila mentioned, all of us, the organizers here, Laila, Pika, Ayu, and myself, we met last year in December at the YSEALI Summit, and we got a grant from YSEALI to run this project, short project. So I know like many of you have been involved in this. So yeah, now it's sort of like we are moving toward sort of like the recap of the program. And this is the international seminar or webinar where I was asked, some of us were asked by the organizer to provide case studies about for my case, in my case, it's about forest conservation and biodiversity in the hope that it will inspire your own sustainability journey. So allow me to share some slides. So let me do that, at least to initiate the discussion. But I do hope we can have a dynamic Q&A later on. So let me see. Okay, so and I will switch back and forth between the PowerPoint slides with like a web browser as well. But okay, so what I'm going to share with you all this morning is my experience actually. So as was mentioned by Fika, I did my PhD, and after my PhD, I've been working in several organizations. So now sorry, as mentioned by Laila, so now I work for IUCN, International Union for Conservation of Nature. I'll tell you a bit more about that because what I want to do is actually to tell a case study from each of my jobs, including the past jobs that I've had with WRI, Indonesia, World Resources Institute, Indonesia, as well as European Forest Institute. So all these are sustainability related organizations. And I know like this is a topic that you are interested in. So I thought maybe I can bring in a few, stories and lessons learned also from my previous job. So there are some key topics that I would like to touch on. First, I want to talk about how conservation planning is important to address deforestation and also to advance forest conservation. And I'll tell you why with a case study. The second thing I would like to mention is that inclusive building capacity program is important so that we can develop trust and ensure that everyone has the same understanding. And I also have another sort of like case study or story to bring about that point. And then last thing is that we've heard a lot, we want to think globally and act locally, but I would argue that whenever possible, let's try to act not just locally, but also globally. So these are sort of like some of like key topics, key messages I would like to bring. But let's just jump straight away to the first bullet point on conservation planning. And for that, I'll bring in a case study related to my previous job at European Forest Institute, where I was working. This case is actually the work that I was doing with an organization in Indonesia and also a local organization in South Sumatra. So, and it's on forest conservation. As you know, in Indonesia, in South, including in South Sumatra and of course Aceh, right? In Sumatra, we have a lot of forests, but there used to be a lot more forests. So there has been a lot of deforestation happening over the years because of development, economic development, because of conversion into oil palm plantation. For example, and I know that this is also affecting the Leuser ecosystem. So I had I've had the privilege of working in many different parts of Indonesia, different parts of Sumatra, but I would like to bring in here a case study from South Sumatra, especially from the Banyu Asin district in South Sumatra. So Banyu Asin district has rich peatland and mangrove. It is home to Berbak Sembilang National Park. So Berbak Sembilang National Park has one of the richest mangrove and peatland in Indonesia. It is home to a lot of migratory birds actually coming from Australia toward mainland Asia. And because of that, the district of Banyu Asin in South Sumatra has a great deal of biodiversity. And of course, it has because it has a lot of like peatland and mangrove. That means it also has a lot of carbon. And as you know, carbon is really important. Carbon dioxide, especially, is a greenhouse gas. And when it's released from the atmosphere, for example, because of conversion from mangrove and peatland forests into oil palm or into fish ponds, then that means the carbon dioxide is released to the atmosphere, contributing to the problem of greenhouse gases. So we understand the need to conserve the biodiversity, to protect the carbon that is contained in the mangrove and peatland forests of Banyu Asin. But we also know that local people, the villagers, they are in need of sustaining their livelihoods and turning land, converting land and forests into oil palm plantation becomes sort of an attractive option for them. So the challenge here is how to do a sustainable development program that would protect the environment, but also will still support their livelihood. So for example, in the context of Sumatra, how can we develop sustainable oil palm plantations? So in order to develop such options that are good both for the environment and also for the economics of the local people, we need a planning tool, right? And so when I was at EFI, European Forest Institute, we have this land use planner tool. And the land use planner tool is a freely accessible tool. So you can go to landuseplanner.org if you are interested in participatory land use planning. So the idea here is that it provides a framework for stakeholders, for you all, also students, if you are interested in the tool, to compare different land use scenarios. Like what happens if we just stay business as usual, doesn't do anything, just leave the population growth and also like the trend of conversion of forests into oil palm and so on unchecked. Also, we
Sorry,
can do
Mr.
calculation.
Satria.
Yes.
Could you please, I'm sorry, could you please repeat from the challenge that you mentioned before? I'm sorry for that. My connection's a bit, could you please repeat?
Oh,
I'm
sure.
so sorry.
Yeah.
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 From the challenges that you mentioned about Sumatra. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah. So the challenge I would say is how we can balance development, lowland development, and forest conservation, mangrove and peatland forest conservation in South Sumatra. Because as you know, of course, the local communities, they are enticed by the oil palm plantations that can provide easy cash for them. But we know this part of South Sumatra, where I was working, is also very rich in biodiversity. It has like this Berbak Sembilang National Park, which is a designated, like very important wetland site where you see a lot of migratory birds coming in. Because of that, because of the need to balance lowland development and conservation, we need to have like a good planning tool. And my organization before, European Forest Institute, developed this tool that is a freely accessible tool for anyone interested in participatory land use planning. So of course, it's useful to compare different land use scenarios. You can play around with the costing, looking at the costs and benefits. Oh, what if we plant not just oil palm, but something else maybe around the oil palm? What if we switch to oil palm agroforestry, combining oil palm with other trees, for example? So we can do all those calculations as well, so that this would help stakeholders when we are meeting with them, so that they can decide, oh, okay, this seems to be sort of like a feasible option, both for their livelihoods, but also in terms of biodiversity, in terms of social conditions, because sometimes there are conflicts around land tenure, around land ownership, and the hope is that when stakeholders are armed or given this tool, they understand better the situation in their land, the economics around their land, so that they can decide what to do with their land. So I'll just show you briefly. So let me stop share this one, and then I'll want to share a screen from my, let's see, sorry, not this one. Oh, sorry. Oh, how do I? Okay, so yeah, I just wanted to tell you about like how just to want to show you some data, some images. So where I was working, this project I was working on, this is Banyu Asin Regency or district in South Sumatra, and there's the national park, a lot of peatlands as well, and but then it has mangrove forest. It also has coconut, oil palm, and rubber plantations. You see a lot of mangrove trees near the coast. Looks like this, but also if you are flying above that, you see a lot of oil palm plantations, and the number of oil palm plantations are increasing as well. So we developed together with WRI, EFI, and WRI, and another local organizations called Haki, Hutan Kita Institute. We created business as usual scenario, like looking at if we don't change anything, what would happen to the economy? What would happen to the environment? And also we are looking at palm oil expansion scenario. What will happen if we just expand oil palm plantation over the next 5 years? So I'm not going to show you the results, but what I'm just going to say here is that scenario building, land use planning is important to facilitate dialogue among stakeholders. And these kind of scenarios buildings can help inform the development of an action plan or strategy. For example, and now I'm going to go back to my PowerPoint. For example, we actually help develop the subnational action plan, subnational action plan on sustainable palm oil for the Banyu Asin district. So we were part of the team, and we were doing this together with the government. And then 2 years after we started developing the subnational action plan, earlier this year, the subnational action plan was signed by the district head itself. So yeah, I think this is just to show you that planning is important when it comes to forest conservation and addressing deforestation. So that would be my first case study. The second case study is on biodiversity conservation. And this is where I want to talk about capacity building, and especially how inclusive capacity building is important to ensure everyone has the same level of understanding, and so we can build trust as well. So I was involved. I was designing this program called Jelajah Konservasi, which is like a conservation traveling seminar. This program is intended for the public government officials from the Ministry of Environment and Forestry, especially those that are in the middle level, so that they get to know us who are working in the non-governmental sectors better, focusing on conservation. And so we went to the field together for 10 days to different parts of Sumatra, to Banten in the western part of Java, as well as to Lampung in the southern part of Sumatra. So it was a very interesting exercise. I'll show you, you can check out our blog. So I just want to go through the blog really quickly. I just wanted to show you where we went and what we did. To some extent, it's quite similar to the program that Kak Ayu and Perempuan Peduli Leuser has done. So we started, of course, with some theory where the professors and key people who are involved in conservation of Indonesia provided, giving us the theory of conservation. But what's really cool is that for 9 days we were together. We took the bus together. First, we went to Pulau Dua Nature Reserve, which is a habitat for water birds and one of the migration routes of migrant birds. We worked together with Burung Indonesia, which is an NGO that focuses on bird life, on bird conservation. And then we went to Lampung. After that, we went to Taman Nasional Bukit Barisan Selatan, or Bukit Barisan Selatan National Park. Of course, we got to see nature. There was a Rafflesia arnoldia blooming when we were there. But what's really fun was that we went to research station together, and then we were learning a lot of new tools for conservation. So this is great because the government officials, as well as those of us from the NGOs, we were learning together from nature and also from local people. So we felt like we were equal. And I think that's a very important thing. Sometimes when you have meetings like in the office, you have sort of like different dynamics. This one, we felt like, we had fun, we were learning together, we were in the field together. So it created a sense of camaraderie and solidarity. So I think that's an important lessons learned also that we had. So we were learning many tools like Smart Patrol. Maybe some of you have heard of that. It's a system to help park managers, manage their protected and conserved areas. We also learned, for example, this program by WWF called New Trees. Is the geotagging for forest restoration. So if you want to monitor the trees that you are planting as part of restoration project, you can help. You can use this tool by WWF called New Trees, for example. We learn also things like, and I know like for those of you who are based in Aceh, elephant-human conflict sometimes happen. So we learn actually from the community, how they try to resolve the elephant-human conflict mitigation using fireworks or firecrackers. And then also when there's issue with human-animal conflict with tiger, we learn, how the tiger is being managed safely and sustainably as well. And many of you might have heard that in Indonesia, we have social forestry program, but oftentimes there is a conflict between the understanding that government has about, especially the conservation people has about social forestry, because for them, well, if we are talking about protected areas, we don't want people to come in. But the idea here with social forestry is actually the reverse. We want to empower local people to become the stewards of the protected areas themselves. So we're learning, by talking to each other, by meeting with local people, seeing how look, natural reserve area, protected areas can also be managed sustainably by the local people. So yeah, that I would say that would be the key point from that Jelajah Konservasi or traveling seminar that we did together with the government. So the very last thing that I would like to say is that yes, we need to think globally and act locally, but if you can act globally, that would be even better. Because as you know, we are talking about situation on the ground, but the policy at the global level also helps determine what can happen on the ground. So 2 years ago, in 2022, there is this Kunming-Montreal Global Biodiversity Framework, which is an agreement pretty much by all countries on Earth to agree on several targets on biodiversity, including targets to restore degraded ecosystem and targets to protect and conserve areas as well. And I now work for IUCN. IUCN is a global organization. It's the world's largest, oldest, and most diverse environment organization with a lot of countries as members, as well as many other NGOs, subnational governments, and indigenous peoples organizations as members. So we act as advisor and secretariat for global processes. And having been involved in many of the global processes, I would say it's a privilege, but it's also the onus is on me and also other IUCN staff to ensure that we actually rely also on situation on the ground so that we can inform the negotiations, global negotiations among countries so that it can happen according to the fact, according to the real situation on the ground. So yeah, again at IUCN we produce a lot of different tools for conservation, and these tools have been used globally, and this is why it's important to understand the situation on the ground, because these tools often they get upgraded, they get sort of like improved, refined, from time to time. And it's the application on the ground which matters to inform the refinement of such conservation tools, such as IUCN Red List of Threatened Species and other tools that we have. So yeah, another tool that IUCN has is this IUCN Global Standard for Nature-Based Solutions. So maybe some of you have heard of the term nature-based solutions. And if you need further information about nature-based solutions, you can check out this tool as well. So, and this is my summary slide, and I'll stop here. I just, again, using the case studies I've mentioned based on my previous jobs, I just wanted to say 3 things. First is that planning is a key tool to address deforestation and to ensure sustainable development. The second thing is that we still need to do capacity building, but it is capacity building that is inclusive, that can ensure common understanding. And if we have such capacity building activities, then we can build the trust among stakeholders, which will be useful for forests and biodiversity conservation. The last thing is that yes, as citizen of Aceh, citizen of Indonesia, we need to act locally as well. But if possible, we also want to influence what's happening on the global level, which is why whenever possible, we also want to act globally. So I'll stop there, and I'll share this back to Laila. Laila, over to you. Thanks a lot.
Thank you Thank you, Ms. Atrio. Okay, we have a question from Fauzi Setiawan. He's from Indonesia, so he want to ask you about which one do you use in your life, car or public transport, even for a far route? In your perspective, do you agree with electric car? Even the effect to get the nickels by using extractive mining that deforesting our conservation area? So, yep.
Yeah, thanks a lot. Of course, in our life, we need to think of trade-offs as well. I mean, we want to adopt more sustainable lifestyle. I mean, for me, I live in Bangkok, and in Bangkok, the traffic is terrible. I would say even more terrible than in Jakarta. Because of that, I decided not to buy a car here. So we try if possible, to take public transport as much as possible, boat or car. But sometimes you have to rely on Grab car or Grab bike, which is not exactly public transport in that sense, sustainable in terms of sustainability. Electric car, I think that's good because I mean, as you know, if we are using car that is based on fossil fuels, yes, it's not only using fossil fuel, which emits a lot of carbon, but also bad for pollution. I mean, as you know, in Jakarta, for example, and some other cities in Southeast Asia, I mean, they are polluted. I mean, not just because of the industry that is taking place around the cities, but also because of the amount of cars, fossil fuel based cars that are present in the city. With yes, electric car, it depends on the battery as well. But I would say that the battery now, yes, there's nickel. It depends on where the nickel comes from. I agree. In some cases, it might come from areas that have high biodiversity values, and deforestation can happen. And it's our job also to check, where the nickel is coming from, and ensure that companies and governments are taking action if we know that the nickel comes from deforested area. Of course, we need to stop that. And but then I would argue that we still need to make that switch to electric car, because the technology is getting better and better, and also cheaper as well. So I mean, if you think about solar, it used to be very expensive, but now it's actually quite cheap. And I think the same transition and technology will happen also with regards to electric car and EV, electric vehicle battery as well. So I think we will have options that will be good, will be better for the environment, sooner than later when it comes to electric car, making it more efficient, but also making it more biodiversity and climate friendly. Yep, thanks for the question, Fauzi.
Thank you, Fauzi. Thank you, the Secretary. I have one more question, like, what actually we should do if, let's say, the elephants are like, especially people who live in the village, they will feel like disturbed when the elephant destroyed their agricultural land. So, what is actually the right ways to do that?
So, which is why, I mean, if we look at, so there are several ways. In the near term, you want to get them out of your land, of your say agricultural land, and you can use fire crackers, as I mentioned before, as a deterrent. But then in the long term, medium and long term, of course, you need to provide the habitat for them. So in some cases, what I've seen happening is that the designation of protected and conserved areas for for elephants conservation will be important. So to ensure that they will have the home, so that they have like the food within such area, so that they don't need to venture out and go to like people's agricultural land or houses. So I think that that's important. I mean, you need to create sort of like and protect the habitat. You can also, what I've seen happening, you can create like how some green areas, they are in patches, right? I mean, because we have landscape that is not, we cannot have landscape that is all fully protected, because as humans we also need to utilize the area. But what we can do is actually to create a corridor, areas like green areas that serve as corridor for the elephants. So when they are moving with their herd, they can roam from one green space, one protected area to another area. So that's another thing that can be done as well. And I think there are some nice stories from our region, from Indonesia, from Malaysia, how these protected areas for elephants are being developed.
Thank you so much, Dr. Satrio, for your speech today. Yeah, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. So we will move to the next session with P. Rahman, but before that, we have something to show.
This is my first protest. It's a protest filled with emotion. Where I'm from, protests are forbidden. I'm here the same reason why these people are here. The death of another black life. The death of George Floyd at the hands of a white officer triggered protests all over America. New York City is one of them. I arrived in New York City last year seeking the experience I imagined America has to offer. Was this the freedom that I longed for all my life? I grew up in Brunei, a country that not many people know about. It's a monarchy that follows Islam. A country rich with culture and tradition. That has over 400,000 people, and I am one of them. I'm a Muslim and a woman of color from Brunei. But I was never proud of telling people that. Ever since I was a child, people would always stare at me whenever they saw me. I was always uncomfortable whenever I went out. Was it my big eyes, black curly hair, or my dark skin? Most have lighter complexions, except for the workers. In Brunei, the darker you are, the lower your status is. Darker people are seen as peasants who work for hours and days in the sun, whereas fairer people are considered rich and royalty. In Brunei, having white skin and wearing the hijab are the ideal beauty for a Bruneian woman. I always felt like I never belonged in my own country. I resented it. As I grew older, I was told playing music wasn't allowed. I didn't understand why. I hated even more the restrictions that Brunei imposes upon the people. The limitations on our freedom of expression and beliefs. People fear the authoritarian power in Brunei. As a woman, I hated wearing the hijab, the Islamic veil. It's one of the unspoken rules for Bruneian women, which I refuse to follow. Every time I put it on, I feel suffocated. It feels as if a part of my identity is gone. Other women had no problem wearing it. I was the exception. Sometimes I would tell myself, it's just a piece of fabric. Why can't you be like them? I couldn't understand why. I started to think that maybe I was the problem. All I knew was that I just wanted to escape Brunei. I just wanted to be free. At 23, I decided to leave. I applied for jobs abroad and became a teacher in Vietnam.
Okay. Hello, can everyone hear me? Sorry, I'm losing my voice. Sorry, I'm losing my voice. I am currently at the Women Leadership Academy program. So we just finished. So I'm right now in Manila under the US and ASEAN. And so that's why I've been losing my voice. So I'm sorry about that. So that is the documentary that I worked on and I won awards. So the story is basically about my personal journey and my childhood, right? So I never felt like I belonged in Brunei for so long, but I finally found peace when I was in New York City with the Black Lives Matter community. And so when I was in Brunei, why I really hated it so much was because when I was a kid, I was beaten, physically bullied. I was an outcast. Yeah, I'm not saying that now people don't accept me. People finally accept me now because of social media. People celebrate color. And what's sad was that when I was a child, we didn't have social media, right? So I was bullied horribly and no one supported me. And I had a lot of people neglecting me. So I'm very passionate about discrimination. And the only person who really cared about me when I was 6 years old was my nanny, and she's from Indonesia. And that's one of the reasons why I can speak Indonesian. And also, she instilled morals. And the thing is, when I lived in Brunei, I saw a lot of Bruneians discriminated against Indonesian workers and against Indian workers. And I really didn't like it, right? Because these people, I felt like I was connected to them. So one day when I went to New York City, that was the day when I um, finally able to express what I've been expressing for 32 years. And because of that, I was able to win awards in New York City. I was able to um, receive a lot of awards and receive a lot of recognition. And I turned my weakness to my strength. And now I'm traveling around the world doing the things that I love because of what I'm passionate about. And so and that's why I'm here in the Women Leadership Academy program in Manila. Um, And so documentary is such a powerful tool. I never started as a journalist. I started as an artist, actually as a scientist. I was a computer scientist in the beginning, and I changed my major to art because I felt like art was the only thing that I was passionate in. It ties into my experience in discrimination. So when I was a child, the only way for me to have peace was drawing, so I can escape reality, and that's why I changed to art. And so one day I was inspired by a lot of people in art, and I wanted to do something bigger than just drawing. So because I've always been passionate in advocacy, so that led me to having a Fulbright scholarship that sent me to New York City to do my master's in news and documentary, or a master's in journalism in news and documentary filmmaking. And so because of that, I created this documentary, and I won awards. And I'm from Brunei, a country where no one knows, so I'm very proud of that, because I kind of put Brunei on the map some way, somehow. And yeah, and I just want to say that documentary is such a powerful tool, and you can be a journalist. Anyone can be a journalist. Anyone can be a documentary filmmaker. It's a matter of your passion, right? What are you passionate about? And because I was so passionate in it, I became a documentary filmmaker. And now I'm a marketing specialist. I work all around the world, so I have to travel around the world. So it's based in Switzerland, and I'm going to Europe soon. But what I'm trying to send is that what message I'm trying to share is that anyone can be a journalist, and journalism isn't just about the news. Journalism is about sharing stories, and usually a powerful story is usually personal based, meaning your personal experience or someone's personal experience, right? Usually a character driven story is the most powerful tool for to share a story. And especially why this is important is because if you want to advocate on something, if you want to talk about the environment, if you want to talk about some policy that you want to change, storytelling is the key. And I cannot emphasize enough of how important storytelling is. So I'm going to open the floor to people to ask me questions. Even to facilitators, you are allowed to ask me questions. So please feel free to ask me any question. I'm so sorry I'm not that well prepared because I was busy for this week and I just finally am free, and now I'm supposed to check out. But yes, please feel free to ask me any question you like on documentaries and storytelling. Anyone? You can talk about the documentary if you like, or anyone.
Does anyone here have any question to ask to Vika? Ada sesiapa di sini yang ingin bertanyakan soalan kepada Vika?
Yes, please.
You can ask in English or Indonesian language or in Malay.
Don't be shy. Oh, okay. Ketika sudah menemukan passion, Ah. Okay, so you ask me, ketika sudah menemukan passion kamu, langkah apa yang kamu lakukan untuk fokus pada tujuan itu? It's a good question. Can somebody translate this for me? Because I'm going to speak this in English. So, gimana kamu memulai storytelling? Okay, so in documentary filmmaking, right? Documentary. Okay, I'll start with Ijo. Is that right? So I'll start with Ijo's question. So I will answer that. So I never knew that I was going to be a filmmaker, right? I came to New York City and I got a Fulbright scholarship. I wonder if somebody can translate this for me. Is there anyone who can translate this for me?
Yeah, I think I can help.
Okay, thank you so much. Sorry about that, because it's easy for me to express in English. So, um, so the moment I found the moment I went to New York City, I didn't know that I was going to do journalism, right? I was an artist, please.
Okay, Fika pertama kali pergi ke New York City dan di situlah dia merasakan bahawa itulah kali pertama dia ingin explore menerokai dunia journalism.
Yes, but I didn't know how to do it. So I was basically thrown into it. And yeah, please.
Tetapi Fika tidak tahu bagaimana caranya untuk melakukan journalism.
Right. And so what I did was that I just kind of like felt so strongly about the George Floyd protest. And I remember crying in my room as I watched him die, right? So please.
Fika berasa sangat terkesan dengan peristiwa yang berlaku ke atas George Floyd. Fika menangis di dalam kamarnya.
Yeah, so what I did was that I started, oh, there's a translator. Okay.
Yeah, that's late.
Yeah, okay. So basically what happened was that I don't know why, I didn't know why. It was during COVID, right? So everyone was in curfew, but I was like, okay, forget about curfew. And I just left, like I brought my camera and just left.
Ketika itu adalah COVID, semua orang tidak boleh keluar. Tapi Fika membawa kameranya dan terus keluar daripada kawasan yang tidak boleh keluar tu.
Yeah, so then what happened was that I just started filming based on my heart. I know it sounds very cheesy, but it actually was I was actually listening to what I really wanted to do, and that what made me drive to film and create the documentary.
Fika merasa seperti dia sangat mencintai perfilman. Jadi itulah yang menyebabkan dia memulakan dokumentari.
Yeah, so then what was so difficult was that it was so emotional at the moment, and I remember that I had to create a story off of this, right? So the thing about documentary filmmaking, it's not just about the filming. There's a lot of aspect in journalism.
Dalam perfilman bukan hanya sekadar merakam video, tapi ada banyak aspek yang perlu dipertimbangkan.
So you need to remember that you're a journalist when you start filming. So the first thing that you need to do is that you need to kind of like detach from emotion.
Ketika melakukan perfilman dan juga dokumentari, kita mesti how to explain this touch of emotion. Uh,
Separate.
yeah. We have to make sure to be kita mesti tidak terlalu beremosi. Is
Yeah,
that correct? Yeah.
I think so. I think that's correct. Yeah. So then I had to be not biased, right? So I had to be not biased and just start to look at it in a different in I had to put myself in their shoes, but at the same time not be biased, which is so difficult as a journalist.
Antara tantangannya adalah ketika melakukan dokumentari tersebut, Fika merasakan dia perlu berasa adil, iaitu tidak Fika perlu merasai situasi tersebut, tapi tidak boleh bersifat berat sebelah kepada mana-mana pihak.
Right. And so that was the most challenging part about being a documentary filmmaker. Now, another part is that documentary filmmaking is not just filming. You have to write. That's why the basics of journalism is so important. Writing is so important.
Ketika membuat dokumentari dan jurnalism, bukan hanya sekadar perlu merakamkan video dan momen tersebut, tetapi yang paling penting adalah menulis. Kerana menulis situasi yang berlaku adalah perkara yang paling penting dan paling asas dalam dunia jurnalism.
Yeah. And so, because when you start writing, you're able to see the structure of your story. In journalism, to win people's hearts is to actually play with people's emotions, not manipulate, but kind of like let them feel what other people feel. No, let them feel what the subject is feeling.
Okey, ketika anda membuat dokumentari, perkara yang paling penting adalah menulis. Dan apabila kita menulis, kita dapat melihat bagaimanakah plot dan juga struktur cerita dan situasi tersebut.
Right. And I think I missed something, right? And I think that so when you see the structure, right, you have to learn how to not manipulate emotion, but rather make your audience or your readers feel or be in the subject's shoes.
Ketika menulis sesuatu jurnalism, kita mestilah memastikan bahawa audien dapat merasai apa yang kita rasa, dapat berkongsi dan memahami perasaan kita sebagai penulis.
Okay, great. And so I would say that would be the focus, and that's how I kind of like developed my writing into documentary filmmaking.
Okay. Vika, I read a comment that Ijo said that she can understand English.
Okay, perfect. Okay, great.
By the
So
maybe you can
yeah.
share a little bit about the George Floyd murder in detail, so they know what we are talking about.
Okay, so in America, all right, so in America, there are so many lives lost. So many Black people's lives are lost at the hands of cops, right? According to past data. So during the George Floyd, during COVID-19 was the time when, of course, people were very stressed, right? So during COVID, people were very stressed. And so a lot of emotions are built up. So they were very stressed and very emotional about a lot of things. And then suddenly George Floyd happened. So George Floyd is just this Black man in America, just a normal Black man. And he was arrested for something. I forgot what it was, to be honest. I think it was Maybe he was pickpocketing, or maybe it was something simple. So he was arrested, and then, but the arrest was so aggressive that it became an accidental death, maybe, right? I cannot judge what happened exactly, but according to the news in New York and in the States, it was an accidental death. So it doesn't matter if it's accidental or not, but a man died exactly at the time when the cop arrested him. Yeah. And so that created a lot of chaos in the world, in America, actually in America and all over the world. And so a lot of people are very angry about it. And that's why the Black Lives Matter became big around the world, because at that time there was a cop, and at that time a Black man died. So it was a very sensitive issue. So that became a huge phenomenon around the world, in America, in Brunei, in Asia, in Europe. So it became a worldwide phenomenon, and that's why George Floyd was a huge, huge historical event in the world during COVID. So that's what happened during the Black Lives Matter. Some people say it's a murder, but some people say it was not a murder, it was accidental. It doesn't matter. What matters was that it just became a huge phenomenon, or a huge movement. Yeah. Okay, next story. What is the hard part of making? Okay. I think I answered the hard part of of creating storytelling. I think it's making people feel what the subject is feeling in your story, right? For example, in my story, I was making you feel what I feel, right? Because it was my personal journey. So I used my story to kind of like tie the Black Lives Matter story, right? So the hard part was making you feel what I feel. I know maybe you don't experience what I felt, but maybe there's some things that you experience, right? So when you are able to connect the story of your story to my story, that's already perfect. That's already powerful. That's always the hardest part. And so I would say that would be the hard part of storytelling, is to basically connect your story to another person's story and kind of like empathize with them, right? Really kind of like feel their emotion. Oh,
Oh,
narasumber. What is narasumber?
okay, Afika. I
Yeah.
think we don't have much time, but
Okay.
no problem. We will have a Q&A session later. So the
Okay.
will be yeah, in the next session, during the Q&A session. Thank you very much,
Okay.
Vika.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
We really want to hear more from you. Thank you, Vika.
Thank you.
Now we have something to show and we want to share with you. So please, Kamala.
Hello guys, I will play our documentary video.
Oke, silakan.
Menurut aku jurnalisme warga itu hasil pikir masyarakat sipil.
Ini walaupun namanya jurnalisme warga, tapi kan materinya tidak tentang hanya menulis. Ada video, ada foto juga kan? Karena teknik storytelling itu tidak hanya pada teks.
Kita di sini tujuannya adalah mengenali sebenarnya masalah lingkungan apa yang terkait dengan bagaimana cara perempuan memandang dirinya. Satu lagi adalah bagaimana pihak luar memandang perempuan.
Setelah menikah itu kita dibatasi cuma di rumah dan di keluarga itu. Saya tidak itu kita masih bisa berkegiatan setelah menikah.
Wanita paling menggunakan air. Kita yang masakan, kita yang membuat air anak-anak dan suami kan. Kita juga yang menyediakan air untuk mencuci pinggan, mencuci baju. Judulnya adalah Ibu Benar, Masakan Retro Khas Ramadan di Aceh.
Ketika nanti si makanan ini sudah mulai punah, itu tidak akan ada yang tahu lagi, oh adakah makanan ini dari Aceh. Itu adalah warisan budaya yang mungkin bisa terlupakan.
Tapi yang membuat orang tergerak itu kan gak harus yang besar-besar. Itu gerakan yang bisa dihasilkan dari kesadaran setelah membaca tulisan kita. Jadi ada misi ya, bukan cuma sekedar menginformasikan. Kamu harus belajar karena Leuser bisa jadi adalah tempat terakhir.
Untuk membuat campaign itu kita juga harus melihat tren sebenarnya. Walaupun menurut kita video-video sederhana kayak ini agak-agak receh gitu, tapi ini yang lebih banyak dikonsumsi orang saat ini.
Kita nih ceritanya mau jadi jagoan media sosial, jadi nggak cuma sekedar posting, ada yang namanya itu harus bisa menganalisis apa sih yang paling penting di fotografi itu. Oke, ya cahaya. Karena tanpa cahaya bisa gelap gulita fotonya, nggak ada apa-apa.
Hari ini kita akan menuju ke kediamannya Mr. Jali. Hampir semua kawasan yang ada di Taman Gunung Leuser itu sudah pernah dijajaki oleh Mr. Jali. Jadi kawan-kawan, inilah orang tua kita. Nama bapak ini Raja Lejemali, tapi lebih familiar dipanggil Mr. Jali. Bapak ini dikenal sebagai profesornya Leuser, ya Pak ya?
Jelas.
Profesor Leuser. Dan ini Ibu, anaknya Mr. Jali, ada Putra di sana ya Putra ya.
Putra ini juga anakku. Lah, kenapa?
Ini sebenarnya kenang-kenangan bahwasannya penghargaan untuk Mr. Jali atas dedikasinya dalam menjaga dan melestarikan kawasan ekosistem Leuser. Ilmu Bapak bisa turun ke banyak orang.
Pada intinya dukungan pemerintah masih sangat dirasa kurang lah untuk pemajuan ekowisata yang ada.
Tuk lagu ini, ala kena aku.
Di Gaya Luas seringkali program pengembangan itu tidak bersifat berkelanjutan. Itu yang masalahnya sekarang. Sekali bantu udah dirasa udah perlu. Padahal kan kita perlunya suatu program itu berkelanjutan. Ini kita mau melaksanakan aksi penanaman pohon yang terletak di sebelah Sungai Kedah. Nanti kita dipandu oleh abang kita, Bang Putra.
di sini jarang terjadi konflik. Karena di sini yang paling dominan orang jumpa orang hutan sama harimau sering juga turun ke sini.
Harimau juga?
Belum pernah konflik sama masyarakat.
Semoga tidak ya. Di sini kita manggilnya apa? Nenek juga atau?
Ya, nenek
juga ya.
Kita nanam pohon ini manfaatnya banyak. Pertama, hutan itu punya 3 fungsi, yaitu perlindungan, pemanfaatan, dan pelestarian. Salah satunya adalah dengan kita tanam pohon seperti ini. Dampak ya pasti masyarakat sendiri yang bisa memanen hasil dari alpukat dan duriannya. Kemudian satwa liar seperti orang hutan yang memakan buah durian.
Okay, that's our video documentary. I will tell you guys about the process when I made these videos. The process is a little bit difficult because I'm using one camera. I take some photos and also videos. And I update, and I also update on social media on the spot. So yeah, I get tired, but I feel happy because I can capturing all the moments during activities. Because I can record the learning process, the expressions of everyone, and also the views when we doing the field trips. Yeah, the moment I remember the most is when it at Mr. Jelly's house, and when we get the planted the tree, because at the Mr. Jelly's house, Mr. Jelly is speaks in Guyonese. So when I recording the video, I feel like, oh, I want to understand what Mr. Jelly says. In the when we planting the trees, guys, we must to cross the river. So because I was worried, so after all the teams had finished the cross the river, so I put my camera on my backpack and then I cross the rivers because I'm afraid of being sleeping. Yeah, actually, I want to join my friends to planting the tree, but because I'm recording and I'll take some photos, and I wouldn't my camera get dirty, so I can join my friends to plant the tree. Overall, the process when I recording until editing the video was fun, and if I had another field trip, I want to make a documentary videos again. So that's it. Thank you, Pak Laila and everyone for watching our documentary videos.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Keke. We really love the video. It's very, very nice shooting. And I'm happy because I'm in the video too. Okay. I just want to let you know that actually the program was very, very wonderful. I came along from Malaysia to Banda Aceh, and then I went to Gayo Duas Regency. I feel like, oh my God, it was a very wonderful woman. I really love that. I really love the food, the people, the environment. So yeah, thank you so much for the team for bringing me to Gayo Lewis area especially. Okay, Kakam, if you want to share more about the video making. What do you think? What I would say like how can I say that? Okay, in what are your tips to make sure that the video that you are making, the documentary session, is you can make such a good video? So if you have some tips you want to share.
Okay, I think when I take the videos, I record all the moments because uh, when we edit, we need to we must to have many footage, because if the footage
Oh,
is little, so yeah, I think uh, we have to prepare our memories in camera is large. So I think, yeah, we must record all everything's, yeah.
that means that we have to, whenever we go, whatever we see, if we find that's interesting, we have to make sure that.
Yeah. And I think if you want to make the documentary videos, when we record the moments, we need to use the microphone.
Oh,
It
okay.
was my mistake, because when we go to the school
Okay.
trip, I just bring my camera with the microphone, so the sounds is have a noise. Yeah. But I edit the noise when editing the videos, Kak Laila.
Okay, okay. So next time, I learned that if we want to make a good video, we have to make sure that we record every good session, every session. We also we have to make sure that we have a lot of footage, and don't forget to bring microphones. Okay,
Yes.
thank you, Pratham, for this wonderful
Kak Laila.
session. So now, ladies and gentlemen, we will move to the next session with Kak Ayu. So this is your floor, Kak Ayu. Thank you.
Thank you, Layla. Hopefully you can hear my voice clearly. I didn't know we have the same problem with Pika, actually. So I lost my voice, but it's okay. I'll try my best. Allow me to share the screen first. Okay, well, everybody, thank you for joining us today. We know that you have a lot of schedule, you have a lot of agenda, but still, you accompany us in this last session of our activity series. Okay, my name is Ayu Ulia. You can call me Ayu. In this program, become a leader of this project, and with those wonderful themes, this session, this activity walk comes true if I don't have such amazing team. Okay. For this session, I just want to share a little bit about connecting the dots. How can we, as Satrio says, it's good if we can think globally, act locally, but also act globally. So in this session, you can see that I want to ask you to type on the comment section. I have several fun questions, so just type it, and hopefully Layla can help me to read the answer. Okay, the first question. Please type yes one if you know your name in 5 seconds. Okay, please, if you know your name, please type on the comment yes one. I will see it. Can you type it or not? Okay, if you know your name, yes one. Yes and one. Okay, I see it. Satrio, you know your name. Okay. Anil, Naila, and then Ijo. Okay. Thank you. We move to the next question. Please type yes to if you know the meaning of your name.
Looks like most of people know their name. Ayu, you are on mute.
Thank you, Layla. Please type yes 3 if you know the meaning, the history of your name. How many people know? Okay, Rifki know her name. Naila know the history of her name. Satrio as well. Okay, thank you. Thank you, everybody. This is one session. So, okay, good. Dian also, Ijo also. Very good. Thank you. It's to make sure that you're still with us. And now we continue to another fun game. Let's see. Please type the name of this fruit if you know. The picture one. What kind of fruit or what kind of plant that you see on the screen? Please type it. Can everything, can whatever you know. Please don't cheat. Please don't cheat. Okay. And then, okay, coffee, durian. Okay, let's say durian. It's a new type of durian. Okay, thank you. And please type the name of this picture if you know the name. Anybody knows? Anybody knows? Okay, good. Somebody knows it. I don't know chocolate. Okay, Khairia said chocolate. Layla never saw this, so she didn't know about this. Okay, thank you. Okay, for this picture, that's right. That's coffee and a nutmeg or pala in Indonesia. But if I ask this kind of picture and the second picture, what is the name of the first picture? What kind of drink? Americano, great. Mahdihan know it's very well. They're studying in. So Indonesian, yeah, es teh. Ice coffee. Okay, thank you. Thank you. How about the second picture? What kind of drink? Cola, great. Cola, there's a merek, yeah. Cola is the mark. Soda. Okay, got it. Thank you, everyone. Okay, so thank you for joining this a little fun game. But the question is, do we miss our roots? What is the connection between asking those games with the connection of the roots? Believe it or not, most people don't really know where their food or drink come from. For example, just now you see, like some of you don't even know about this kind of coffee fruit, but we know the coffee bean. We know so little people know about pala or nutmeg, but almost everybody in this world know about Coke, or we call it popular one Coca-Cola if you see it. But not so many people understand where their food or drink come from. This is the root. I'm talking about the root now. So everyone, sometimes we miss our root because we explore too much outside, but forget to explore inside. Here is the case when I love that when Fika shared about her struggle as a woman, because it's also happened to me, but it vice versa, in another side of the story. When Fika decided don't want to wear their hijab and uncomfortable about it, I also face another challenge when the stigma about people who choose to wear hijab as someone as not educated enough. That's happened to me in 2016 when BBC News come to interview about one of my works. They keep asking me like, are you really using the hijab? Nobody forced you, or you just use it for something fun? You see, the same case, like just different case. People keep asking woman decision. That's happened to me. When I'm really into technology and art, and I decide to use hijab, still, perhaps I'm quite secure in my place, like in Aceh or Indonesia, but it's happened when the outsider or foreigner asking about my choice using hijab, but I'm good in technology because they don't believe someone using hijab or veil are great enough in technology. If I see the different side of story between me and Fika, we actually have similar case, just different approach. That's why, and I'm so agree with Fika when you have to explore more about story and talk about your root. So after having that kind of terrible experience, that's starting point for me to understand I have to keep searching my roots. I have to understand my decision, why I do so, why I don't do so. This is one several approach that I use to connect to my roots. And again, as Satria said, it's great if you can act locally, but you have to also act globally. So I'm bringing my local art, my local nature, and present it in a very modern way, such as through game development or through poster and also text through writing. So I think I hope you get to the point. This is about connecting with ourselves through this EEJ program. So we are bringing several women from around Aceh to come and to look closer so they can speak with the local people, learn from them. And we believe that to have education, to get knowledge, is not only by going outside, but going abroad. It's good, it's great, I agree. And it's better if you also go inside of your root. Like every single country, like Malaysia, Timor-Leste also, Brunei, Indonesia, each of our country has uniqueness that we have to explore. After we understand it, we can bring it to abroad and share it to another person. So this is several picture. And another thing I want to say that the connection between local and global is a must. If I never attend YSIL's program, this program will never be done by us. So I'm meeting Fika, I'm meeting Layla, I'm meeting Satria through this program, and that's what makes this thing great. Through this international program, I'm bring back with my team the international perspective and also combine it with local knowledge or local wisdom. So this happened. So I'm not talking much. I just want to prove or to make you understand how far this program influenced our participants. So here is Insra and Noris, two of our participants who are already following the whole series of activities. I give Insra first and Noris second to speak about their experience during the program. Insra, silahkan berbicara bahasa Indonesia. Nanti Kak Fitri akan menerjemahkannya ke dalam bahasa Inggris supaya teman-teman internasional memahaminya. Oke, Isra, time for you. 5 menit ya, silakan Isra.
Selamat siang. Hai semuanya. Perkenalkan, nama saya Insra Giartiningsih. Saya berasal dari Indonesia, tepatnya di Provinsi Aceh, Kabupaten Aceh Tamiang, Kecamatan Tenggulun, Desa Pemekaran, yaitu Desa Sumber Makmur.
Okay, everybody. My name is Insra. I am from Indonesia, Aceh Province. I am from Tenggulun district in Tamiang Regency. Isra, I'm sorry. Kayaknya audionya nggak on. Coba.
Oh, oke. Maaf Oke. Sudah?
Ya,
Terima kasih karena sudah mempercayakan saya menjadi perwakilan suara perempuan akar rumpun di Aceh.
okay, thank you for pointing me to be one of the grassroots women in Aceh.
Kebetulan saya salah satu bagian dari kelompok Cendana, di mana kelompok ini terdiri dari ibu-ibu kreatif di Desa Sumber Makmur, desa yang saya tinggali saat ini.
Actually, I am belong to Cendana group. This is one of the creative group from my village.
Cendana mampu menghasilkan produk dengan memanfaatkan hasil bumi yang ada di desa kami, meski terkendala dengan jaringan internet yang susah dan akses jalan yang masih bebatuan, bahkan sering terjadi banjir, namun tidak menggoyahkan semangat mereka untuk tetap berkarya. Adapun produk mereka diantaranya tepung pisang, tepung ubi, piring lidi, tas, dan tikar. Ide pembuatan tepung pisang dan tepung ubi itu sendiri terinspirasi dari melimpahnya hasil panen pisang dan ubi dari masyarakat. Sementara piring lidi tersebut terbuat dari lidi kelapa sawit yang terbuang oleh pemilik kebun dan dimanfaatkan untuk pembuatan piring. Dan dikarenakan limbah plastik rumah tangga yang mencemarkan lingkungan sekitar rumah, kelompok Cendana berinisiatif mengubahnya menjadi sebuah tas dan tikar dengan nilai jual yang tinggi. Sekarang produk Cendana sudah bersertifikat halal dan alhamdulillah banyak ibu-ibu yang bisa membantu perekonomian keluarganya. Perasaan saya setelah menjadi peserta EEJ, menurut saya itu sangat luar biasa. Kegiatan EJJ ini dibuat oleh tim perempuan peduli Leuser, The Leader, dan alumni Wesley. Kegiatan tersebut sangat positif dan sangat bermanfaat bagi saya. Para mentornya juga sangat luar biasa. Mereka mengajari saya banyak hal, di mana hal tersebut belum pernah saya dapati sebelumnya. Awalnya teman-teman saya berpikir, kalau kegiatan ini tidak ada gunanya dan hanya menghabiskan waktu saya saja. Tetapi setelah saya bercerita dan membagikan video saya selama kegiatan EJJ ini, mereka sangat antusias dan mereka bilang saya keren karena bisa jalan-jalan gratis, menambah banyak ilmu, dan menambah cukup banyak pengalaman. Bahkan warga desa berharap, terutama orang nomor 1 di desa saya, yaitu Bu Datuknya, berharap supaya saya bisa membuat nama desa saya menjadi terkenal, bahkan sampai ke luar negeri melalui program ini. Selama saya masih diberi kesempatan dan dukungan, saya ingin selalu berkarya di bidang apapun. Siapa bilang kalau wanita hanya berdiam diri di rumah? Saya ingin menunjukkan ke dunia bahwa ibu rumah tangga yang tidak memiliki pendidikan tinggi sekalipun masih bisa berkarya dan berekspresi. Meski saya tinggal di pelosok desa, tetapi tidak mematahkan semangat saya untuk terus maju dan berjaya. Terima kasih kepada tim perempuan peduli Leuser, The Leader, dan alumni Wesley karena sudah memberikan wadah kepada kami para perempuan Aceh melalui program EJJ ini. Terima kasih Kak Ayu.
Thank you, Isra. Time for you, Noris. If you can speak English, please speak English. Terima kasih, Isra.
Oke, thank you. Terima kasih untuk Kak Ayu selaku moderator untuk kesempatannya. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Selamat pagi menjelang siang. Halo semuanya, saya Nurul Islami Dini. Biasanya saya dipanggil Nuris. Saya adalah seorang saintis yang berfokus dalam mengajar, mengambil data dan analisis satwa liar, Leuser, mangrove, dan topik lainnya terkait lingkungan dan konservasi. Saya juga seorang aktivis lingkungan yang berfokus pada diskusi dan aksi di Banda Aceh dan sekitarnya. Nah, sebagai seorang perempuan, saya merasa peran di lingkungan ini masih sering diremehkan oleh orang-orang. Banyak juga permasalahan perempuan yang kurang terekspos, seperti permasalahan banjir, yang mana perempuan itu biasanya menjadi pihak yang paling menderita. Jadi selama mengikuti program EIJ ini, saya mendapatkan sosok nenek, ibu, kakak, dan adik yang semuanya perempuan yang seperti keluarga sendiri. Tapi bedanya, keluarga ini sama-sama suka alam. Nah, hari itu kebetulan acara EEJ ini dilaksanakan di akhir bulan 2, yang mana kondisinya saya cukup down karena ada permasalahan pribadi. Tapi ternyata Allah kasih hiburan dan jalan untuk kembali bersemangat melalui EEJ ini. Saya jadi dapat positive vibes dari para peserta sama panitia. Saya jadi ingat harus lebih bersyukur bisa menjadi perempuan dengan segala keunikannya. Bersyukur juga karena dapat kesempatan untuk berperan di isu lingkungan. Dan bersyukur karena bisa menggerakkan isu lingkungan di tulisan cewek maupun di karya kreatif. Diskusi dengan keluarga di EEJ ini juga sangat interaktif, dan selama 23 tahun saya hidup, baru kali ini saya dapatkan hal-hal baru di EEJ. Saya juga sharing isu lingkungan dan hutan, sharing pendidikan, sharing tutorial buat karya, dan sebagainya. Yang intinya di hati saya, posisi teman-teman EEJ ini cukup berarti dan tidak bisa digantikan. Sebagai penutup, saya ingin mengutip sebuah kalimat mutiara dari salah satu peserta EEJ yang paling muda. Ia bernama Meme, yaitu pelajarilah Leuser karena bisa jadi 10 tahun lagi hanya Leuser yang layak untuk jadi tempat tinggal. Terima kasih. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam. Thank you very much, Nuris and Isra, for sharing your talk, your experience. That's very awesome. And then for the last, I'm sorry, excuse me. Okay, for the last slide, allow me to continue a little bit more slide of this session before we close. Okay, everybody, after listening about their experiences, we also have to understand that this session or this webinar is the last activity series that we are supposed to do. This is in April, and then we'll continue with publication of the participant work. I will share the link to you, the YouTube link, also the website link, so you can read the result of their creative work, also citizen journalism. And the last thing I would love to say is actually all of us in this world, we are all connected to each other. So it's important for us to support each other in a good turn, in a good way, so we can grow together and success together. Thank you very much. I'm giving it to Layla. Thank you, Layla.
Ayu, Insra, and also Noris. Okay, do you have any question you want to ask Ayu? Ladies and gentlemen, feel free to ask. We are willing to answer. Anyone has question can leave your question here in the chat box or simply unmute your mic. If you feel some difficulties to write it in English, you can just write it in Bahasa Indonesia or Bahasa Malaysia or any language. We will try to answer.
Still, you can ask Satrio or Vika if you still have another question. Also, Layla herself. Okay, let's see. Everything is clear? So far, so good?
Okay, we have one. Yes, Yeli.
Ya, halo, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam.
Mohon izin nggak di on kameranya, soalnya lagi hektik banget nih sama anak. Mohon izin bertanya, saya penasaran aja nih sama videonya Kekem yang dokumentari tadi itu kira-kira pas waktu buat video itu apakah udah ada konsepnya atau mungkin jalan aja setelah ambil footage? Itu satu. Kemudian yang kedua, kira-kira si Kekem buat videonya itu berapa lama ya sampai segitu bagusnya? Karena memang kayak terhipnotis gitu ya lihat videonya dan mengingat kembali masa-masa yang kita saat di Gayo kemarin. Yang ketiga itu kan banyak tuh video yang diambil, pasti mungkin bahkan jumlah mungkin ratusan bisa ya. Itu kayak mana ya cara memilahnya sehingga mendapatkan video yang terbaik? Kan banyak ya dari video-video lainnya kayak gitu. Mungkin bisa sedikit sharing gitu ya Kekem ya, supaya bisa kita nanti belajar gitu. Oke, itu aja. Terima kasih. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
So we have 3 questions. The first question is all the questions are going to ask the terms. So the first question is what do you already have a concept prior taking the videos, or you just take the videos and then you create the documentary? And the second question is how long do you take to create such wonderful video? And then since the third question she asked, since you have lots of video footage, so how did you manage to choose which videos should be included as a documentary video?
Okay, thank you, Kak Eli. Actually, I'm not prepared about the idea and concept for the documentary video. But on the spot, when I record the session, I take a note in my phones, like I have record this scene, so I think the B-roll is blah 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 and blah blah blah. So when I edit the documentary video, I see my notes and the hard. I think the idea is on the spot when the session, when the activity, and also when I edit in my laptop. About the second question is, I'm sorry, Kak Laila, I forgot.
How long did you take to create such wonderful videos?
Oh, okay. After we go home, when after we get back from the Gayo Luwes, I make a little scene in my laptop, but I really finished the video in 3 days ago, because the deadline is Saturday. It's this Saturday, so I will really make the video in 1 week, I think. Yeah, because I have to full of I think I don't get triggered in another activity when I edit the video, because why I'm triggered to another activities. I think the feeling of the video is not full like in my mind. And about the footage, I I think it's almost about 60 giga footage. How to say? Yeah, the memories about the photo and video. It's I think 16 or 70 giga. So it's have so much footage. Yeah, but I have to selection. I have to make the selection one by one, the footage, the photo, the video to upload on media social, and also include in the video. That's so many footage, really. But I have enough time to selection the footage. Okay, I'm done.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Jacob, for your sharing. We have one question to Fika Rahman from Eva Hazmaini. She asks you, like, how do you approach the source of narrative, like the people who are the source of your narrative? I think the narasumber is narrative sumber. Yeah.
Hello, can you hear me? You can, right? Okay.
Yeah. Yep.
So the difficult part about being a journalist is to get people to say yes, right? So in journalism, so you have two types of journalism. So you have the writing part, and then you have the video part. So in journalism, when you write, it's always easy to get people. It's always easy to get people to trust you to be put in the newspaper, right? Because they can remain anonymous, they can hide their identity, they can fake their name. But when it comes to documentary filmmaking, it's difficult, right? It's difficult because you want their faces in. So it means that you have to have a lot of trust. So to get people to be in your video, you have to build a lot of trust. It's like building a friendship or building a relationship, right? So the hardest part is always building the relationship. How do you convince someone or persuade someone to be in your video, or to actually be brave enough to speak about their cause? So it's about like how to build that trust, right? So for me, I was very vulnerable. I opened my heart and I really told them about how I was discriminated against, right, in my country. And they also felt the same way. And I told them that I really felt them. So they accepted me as a community. And it took that 2 months, actually, no, 3 months to be a part of their community. So I had to visit them every single day. I had to go from my apartment in New York to the city hall in New York and sit there and stay with them until nighttime and eat with them, sing with them, be a part of the community. So that's how you win their trust, right? So I really integrated myself and became a part of the tribe, so that's how I basically worked on that. Yeah. Oh, I think Laila, your audio is not on.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, Rika, for sharing the answer. Okay, what else do we have? We have question from Fikri Ivan. I think maybe Ka, you can answer these. Can we download the materials for today, especially the PowerPoint?
Actually, we will upload this session on YouTube, and then we also will send you the material as well as the certificate if you're attending this session. Yeah, nothing to hide. We can share it.
Okay. Do you have any question anymore? Any question to Masa Trio?
Yeah.
Ayu?
I think we have like for 15 more minutes
Yeah,
to
we have.
discuss.
So
Actually sharing forum, not like a very learning forum. It's just sharing forum, so it's okay if we can ask even a silly question. Sometimes we are afraid because we think we have to ask a very complicated one, but actually you can ask like, Laila, why you become avatar of the water? Laila just to become the expert in water, and not so many people are really into that knowledge for this day. You can ask Laila as well, ladies and gentlemen. But if everything clear, we can close this session.
or anyone want to share anything? Okay, maybe we can have some conclusion from each of the speaker before we end the session. Okay, let me start with Dr. Satrio. In 3 minutes, what do you want to advise or anything you want, like a conclusion for this session? Yes, please.
Yeah, I'm actually not sure what to say. I think I've shared my key messages, but to me, it's really heartening. It's encouraging to hear the story that many of you have shared. After I gave my intervention, of course, Fika mentioned her story, and then each of you, and then like the last few speakers on like sharing about what they're doing, their personal projects, how this program has enabled them to give bigger, louder voice. I think that's great to hear. I think what's important here is that wherever we are in our stage of career, whatever our background, I mean, we can all contribute toward sustainability and biodiversity conservation. I think that's sort of like a key point that I would like to mention, and linking that with ecofeminism, linking that with journalism. There are a lot of I would say linkages. I mean, when we talk about sustainability, when we talk about biodiversity conservation, it's linked to many different facets of life, many different sectors. So all of us can be guardians of biodiversity, of nature, and we can all contribute through whatever we are doing. Documentary, of course, is a great tool, and I think it is very important when we are talking about education and communications of nature conservation. I think we want to utilize those tools, and it's great to see many of you serving as champions. So I cannot thank you enough for that. From me, I've been learning a lot from each and every one of you this morning. So I thank you for that, and I'll stop there.
Thank you, Satriel. And I really appreciate your advice and your key messages. And next, maybe Fika, do you want to share anything before we end the session? Is Fika here? Okay, maybe we can invite Ayu. If you have like 3 minutes, what do you want to say to the participants here?
Thank you, Leila. First of all, thank you very much for joining our last series. It's a very wonderful journey where I meet so many great people, not only great mind, but also great heart. And then one point that I learned so much about being the leader is not easy. Excuse me. When you are becoming the leader, you are the one who serves a lot because you have to protect your team. You have to make sure they are comfortable enough. You have to make sure they can work together. I still remember about once Jack Ma said that it's easy to connect people who are not really willing to learn more, but if you connect smart people, it's hard because they have their own thought, they have their opinion, they have their experience, but that's meant great. And I know one of this team is one of the greatest people I know so far. And then it's an honor for me to get this chance to learn from you all guys and to collaborate with you all too. And hopefully it's not the first and the last, but it will continue more for the next time, for the next months and years. And I'm very happy to find not only a co-worker, but also like new family from Malaysia, from Brunei, also Timor-Leste, also another country from part of Asia that's really opened my eyes. And thank you also for the BGBG who guide us through this program, the leader, our partner, Perempuan Peduli Leuser, also the YCLIS alumni, thank you very much. I would love to invite all of you to try the program, to register and submit your project. Hopefully it will be accepted so you can not only nourish yourself, but also empower a lot of people around you. That's all for today. Thank you.
Thank you, Ayu. Thank you, Satrio. And we have actually a message from Pika Raman. She said that she has to exit right now, but she has a message for everyone here. She said, don't let fear get in the way of voicing out the issues you're passionate about and really follow your heart to advocate what you believe in. So that means Fika really want us to keep doing advocating people and always believe that whatever we want to advocate and find our passion. Like she's very passionate in journalism, so she advocate people about that. And like me, I'm very passionate in water and sustainability, so that's what I'm doing in advocating. Masatrio, he has a lot of experience and really love forest and nature, so he advocating it. And of course, Kaayu, she has a lot of experience in journalism, in storytelling, and also helping women in the grassroots to improve their life. So find your passion to make sure that you can contribute back to the community. Before we end, I would like to ask everyone here to follow us on Instagram. So I left in the comment the IG handles. Sorry. Okay, so you have 4 accounts that you have to follow. First one is Perempuan Leuser, the leader ID, BGBG Initiative, and Washili Official. So you will have lots of opportunities. You will get lots of updates from these 4 accounts to make sure that you can join a lot of community programs. So maybe before we end the session, I would like to say thank you everyone. Terima kasih for coming to this session and spend your weekend with us. Thank you to all speakers. We really appreciate your insights and sharings. And can everyone here open your camera so we can have a moment where we take a photo together. Maybe Kirkham, can you help me taking the photos?
Of course, Kak Leila. Okay.
Okay. Everyone on the camera. Don't be shy. Okay, maybe we can have a position. 1, 2, 3.
I think one more time.
Okay. 1, 2, 3.
Okay.
And one more.
Okay.
Something that is not so formal. Freestyle. 1, 2, 3.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you, everyone. Terima kasih for coming for this session. See you again in the next session. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Have a good one. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank
Terima
you.
kasih.
Bye-bye, everyone.
Terima kasih.